that just turned into something that I didn't expect that the channel would be talking too much about. I love doing the true crime stuff. What do you think about this channel? Like, do we do too much about the Zodiac Killer? Sometimes I feel like we don't do enough about the Zodiac Killer, and it's like that seems to be one of the kind of hot button issues on the internet, to be honest. I have a lot to say about the Zodiac, and I really get so many ideas though going through a lot of the kind of suspects, like the list of suspects. I feel like there's so much to say and talk about, but when it comes to that, it's like I'm almost, tempted to write some giant article. I don't think I have a book in it yet, but like to write a giant piece about kind of the things that we've talked about through the uploads here on the Zodiac Killer, talking about Richard Gaikowski and Louis Myers, Ross Sullivan, Lawrence Kane, as well as Arthur Lee Allen. Even we've done some things about him, and Earl Van Best was another one that we covered on this channel. I was just listening back to some of the recordings that I did about Maura Murray yesterday, and I want to get more into that in the future. Maura Murray was one of the cases that I began following because of the Missing Maura Murray podcast, and that was something that turned into a deep dive segment for them. I mean, that was a deep dive podcast, and I was just I got pulled into the case, and I just, was learning as much as I could about it. Some individual was writing a blog as well, and he put out a book called True Crime Addict, but we don't say his name out loud, because I personally believed he was just milking the case and trying to use it for his own popularity. But, it's like, I hope to do some more things about Maura Murray in the future. Maybe we can actually get some deeper understanding of what was going on. Recently, we covered Maria Ridolph and Tara Calico, which are some cases that I sort of examined years ago, like many years ago, and I got a little bit refreshed, and those were very small things. They were kind of like one shots. They were just like sort of kind of just standalone. I mean, I had, just a very big nutshell summary and like, hey, this is my theory about what happened to Tara Calico and what happened to Maria Ridolph. As well as, though, we got a little bit more into Madeline McCann recently, and I had a good time going through some of the information because the only good part about, interviewing, about listening to something so gruesome is that I found that my theories were actually somewhat in line with Gonzalo Amaral, one of the former detectives in the case, and, like my sort of social commentary perspective is almost in line with his deep dive research perspective. And that was a good feeling to have, and that felt really good. But upcoming on the channel, I just would ask, what cases would you want to hear if you've made it this far into the recording? No matter what you do, no matter what you suggest, we will try and cover it at some point. I mean, somebody suggested that I do Jean-Benet Ramsey, and then I was like, yeah, absolutely. I used to follow Jean-Benet years ago. I have the book Perfect Murder, Perfect Town by Lawrence Wright. Lawrence Schiller, excuse me. Lawrence Wright was the no. He didn't write Perfect Murder, Perfect Town. He wrote The Looming Tower. Lawrence Schiller wrote Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, excuse me. But I saw that 3 hour mini-series that they did. It's on YouTube for that you can see for free, and that was something that just like after I saw that, I just wanted more. I wanted like more of that, and it was a very compelling presentation that Lawrence Schiller had concocted with Perfect Murder, Perfect Town, and the way they portrayed it in the miniseries. But overall, I think this channel is really kind of evolving into something where it's just like we tried the Occult Mondays thing for a while, and I don't necessarily know if I'm the best person to be doing something like that. I'm a big skeptic with a lot of the occult stuff, and I would say that it's probably best to have someone who is going to be a little bit more on the fence than I am, because maybe my presentation isn't the best for things like that. But the channel's really turned into something where we're covering many more subjects than I ever intended to this year. I really thought we would be doing just a lot more true crime and trying to go through some of the theories to try and understand what was happening, to try and get to the heart of the issue. because I believe that by putting out uploads here on BBOR, and by talking to people in the comments sections, maybe we can actually get to some definitive answers. I'm not sure how helpful a small channel would be in terms of reaching a wide range audience, but I believe that we might be able to at least have something on the internet that would provide some kind of conclusions to a lot of cases. And through the Zodiac Killer, I think we're getting close. And I don't say that in any figurative way, and I'm not just being hyperbolic. I think we are actually getting close to learning about what really happened with the Zodiac Killer. If I had to sort of just throw out a message like, what would I think that we've come closest to on this channel? I think it's the case of Jonathan Cruz, one that, really is not talked about much anymore. I think my upload on Jonathan Cruz only got about 32 views. But yes, I think we really have a big theory in there involving Jonathan Cruz was, of course, a man in Texas who was found dead from a single gunshot to the chest. And they believe that maybe he was murdered by his now ex-girlfriend, Brenda, but they were just like, I mean, like, what really happened? Was this a murder or a suicide or an accident? And I mean, once again, I didn't upload all that. I think we're pretty close to getting some definitive answers with Jonathan Cruz. But the other one I would suggest is I would really suggest Brandon Lawson. I believe we've covered a lot of things in the case of Brandon Lawson that are really narrowing down what happened. But the problem is with the case of Brandon Lawson is it's going to require probably some physical searching to determine where he is actually buried, because I do believe that he is dead. But I believe that the theories that we've explored on Jonathan Cruz and Brandon Lawson are very solid. Like, I mean, I would really just love to just discuss those a little bit more with people. Maybe they can poke some holes where I've gone too far. And when we went over the case of Madeleine McCann, I mean, that is one of the most famous missing persons cases of all time. But, I mean, the theory that I came up with, and what I've heard from people in the comments section, as well as the Gonzalo Amaral documentary and, Sky News and the things we went over on the podcast, is all coming together that this was sort of like an accidental death and a cover up. And it involves sleep aid drugs and the parents making some poor decisions, some irresponsible decisions. But what I would really say about all of this is that I think that this channel is going to be covering a much larger range of subjects. I just did one about the possibility of human life on the moon. I mean, like, not aliens, but human beings building, like, permanent bases and residences on the moon. And we talked about a few theorists who were involved with that. And, it's everybody from Mike Pence to Newt Gingrich have also made similar comments, and space travel and space exploration was something that I was very passionate about a year ago, and I did one upload on this channel about going to Mars, but I never touched the subject again because I didn't think it was very popular. But I would just say that there's some things that I really just want to share. I want to talk about more, and I guess it's all right to be putting it out there on a small channel like this. I've said it many times. A channel like this one has sort of the ability to cover a wide range of bases because it is so small. It's like, we can just cover different subjects, and then whoever wants to listen can listen. Whoever wants to kind of, hear something new can hear something new. Whereas perhaps some of the larger channels have to be very careful what they say so they don't lose 1,000 subscribers a day and stuff like that. But I might not even get 1,000 subscribers in my lifetime. I mean, it's like, who knows? Who knows? No, but this isn't really something that is designed to make any money or designed to get famous. I mean, it's called Black Box Radio, and it's a very, very low budget production, if you can catch my drift. It's just like, this is just something about talking about some ideas that I've had about some true crime cases as well as other subjects, and wanting to kind of put these things out there so we can connect with more people and just, what does somebody have to say? And I was a true crime fan for a long time. way before ever recording anything for YouTube. And I know what it's like being a true crime fan. You will go through everything trying to kind of just hear different perspectives. And I think that's one of the things that is so great about true crime. You're not really going for the confirmation bias. No, you want to hear all kinds of things. Even if you don't agree with something, you can talk about why you disagree with it in a constructive way. And I think that's one of the reasons that really kind of pulled me into this stuff, as well as just getting in touch with some different people who have, same similar ideas and different ideas. It's like everything can come together in true crime. I know the political stuff on this channel is not very popular, but at the same time, I would think that I would want to keep doing it because we're going to get closer to the 2020 election, and I've already started. I already have one foot in the door making some uploads about the upcoming presidential candidates, as well as talking about some more fringe political activity, like some more of the far out stuff. We covered the Humanity Party recently, Christopher Nemelka, cases like that, issues like that are just very, very different. So I'm hoping to do some more things about political movements and some upcoming presidential candidates. I know it's not really going to be getting thousands of views, but it's a subject that I find somewhat fascinating, so I can't really stay silent about some of this stuff. It's just something that I would like to create and put out, and if maybe someone out there out of maybe 9 people that would listen to that has a good thing to contribute, all right, throw a comment in there and let's, make the discussions a little bit bigger. Now, as far as true crime goes, maybe we'll get a little bit back to some of the theories associated with O.J. Simpson. I can never really get away from that. One case that I would like to talk about is the death of Henry McCabe, a man who passed away in Minneapolis, Minnesota, near a body of water, but there's a very big twist. That's the one with the famous voicemail where he's just making inaudible, incomprehensible sounds, and it's just like a very bizarre case. The death of Henry McCabe is something that I could talk about for a while, so that might be one of the cases that we would be doing in the future. But as far as other true crime cases go, I mentioned I wanted to get back to Maura Murray. If I revise a little bit of the facts, we could do an update on Missy Beavers. But I think that the police are working hard on the Missy Beavers case. That is another one of the cases that I think the internet is very fond of and very very large. And another case. One of the reasons about the Maura Murray case, why I mentioned that one, is Maura Murray would be something where I thought that some between the theory that I put forward and some of the comments, I think we're actually getting close to making some breakthroughs on Maura Murray. So that could be something else that we could be exploring in the future. With this channel, it's like I really try to put out one episode a day, like as a minimum. But it's really hard to do every single. So definitely Christmas Day, but perhaps some other times during the holiday season. But it's like for the rest of 18 early parts to be doing at least one episode upload a day, and I just want to kind of put some ideas out there, deal with some of the very difficult subjects. But what do you guys want to hear? If you have anything to say in the comment section, I would love to know, like, what other subjects do you like? Do you like the historical stuff? Like on this channel, we did the kind of magic and mystics of ancient Egypt ones, things like that. Or do you like things like cult leaders? We did the signs of a cult leader. Like, I mean, what is something that is just kind of like a new area, maybe? Do you like, historical conspiracy theories? I mean, it's just like, that this maybe the Confederacy was plotting with the British to to defeat the Union in the Civil War and stuff like that. Do you like pop culture stuff? Like we talked about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West being involved with the Illuminati, as well as other super conspiracies. Like we mentioned the New World Order in the past, but there are also things such as linking other conspiracy theories together, like the New World Order is, of course, the theory is that the Anunnaki engineered the 12 tribes of Israel, and they went on to become things like the Illuminati and that is, a alien project that's been going on for thousands of years, as well as, just the Jewish ghettos of Europe. And like, I know that's a very, very controversial thing to say, and I probably need to even watch my language because I don't believe that genuinely. I'm not Alex Jones, but there's some very crazy things out on the internet, and I like talking about the crazy stuff, no matter how controversial. I mean, when I started thinking about what kind of podcast that I would like to do, I really thought that it's just good to have something where no subject is off limit. Like, just no subject is out of bounds. I mean, I just sort of think that I want to do things that the audience is going to want to hear. And if anyone has any suggestions at all, they can drop a comment below. I mean, I don't think that we really should have any sort of limitations on the type of discussion that we have here, but that's all for me now, really. Once again, if you have anything to say, any suggestions, any ideas, any topics that you'd like to discuss a little bit more, drop a comment below, and until next time.